and good evening and welcome. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I'm the Spiritual Director at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. That's where you're tuned into. If this is your first time here, you are most welcome. And we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And so we're going to start our evening with an opening ritual. Well, before I get into that, I just want to give a shout out to my friend and partner in spirit here with almost Reverend Mike. He does so much work here. We've either got to call him Rev or get him a cot, one or the other. And anyway, I appreciate his volunteering to bring this meditation service to you. So we're going to start the way we start every service here at our center in Granada Hills by taking a deep conscious breath and release and just allow ourselves to surrender to this moment, this eternal now moment for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. So behind me you see on the wall the candles that are lit for this service. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So the first candle we light for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, in our online community, and right here in our own hearts. And behind me on the altar you see the healing candle. Let's just take a moment to call to mind all those who have been touched by this COVID-19 virus, made their transition, and the families left behind. And for ourselves as we continue to responsibly deal with this pandemic situation. So let's place those names into the light for of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
So yes, in this moment, we take a deep breath and allow ourselves to surrender and to trust in that infinite power and presence, that living intelligence, that infinite heart of the divine as we understand it to be, impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life experience, and through and as all of creation. And so as we understand that there is no God, there is no spot where God is not, and we recognize and surrender to the idea that God is right where we are. So we connect with the indwelling spirit of the divine itself in this moment, that we allow ourselves to step into this field of infinite possibilities of good for these next few moments, that we allow this meditation, each one of us having our own individual experience of this moment, that we call it perfect, that we allow ourselves to just have whatever experience makes itself known this evening, free of judgment, free of expectation, just a time to surrender our thought, surrender the activity of mind to the peace and serenity of peaceful abiding with the One. And so having set the intention for our meditation here this evening, and each one of you bringing up your own intention for this meditation, we take a deep breath together. And in that release, we're just releasing it to the divine activity of mind, the one mind, the one spirit, always expressing, knowing that it is good. We gratefully release it to its divine unfolding, know that it is done. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So thank you for that music. And, that was Sharon Scott, who was singing earlier. And she has a new website. So Google Sharon Scott. I think it's SharonScott.com or SharonScottMusic.com. I just happened to see it. So those of you who know Sharon, she used to support this service on Wednesday nights. Look her up. Get some of her music, say hello, and let her know you're thinking of her. All right. So tonight we're working with our book, Start Where You Are, or Start Where You Are. I don't know where that Leitrim thing came from. Sure, start where you are, rather than where you've been. So Start Where You Are, Pema Chodron. It's been a wonderful book. We've been working our way through it here. And tonight we're starting a new chapter, chapter 19, Communication from the Heart. Communication from the heart. So we'll just read a few paragraphs from this book to just kind of ponder. And then we'll move into our meditation time. So, Communication from the Heart by Pema Chodron. Let's continue with the exploration of compassionate action. So that's what we were looking at the last few weeks. Pema says, we have a strong tendency to distance ourselves from our experience because it hurts. But the Dharma provides encouragement to move closer to that experience. So the Dharma, or our spiritual work, our calling. Although there are lots of words that could be used to explain compassionate action, Pema says, I'd like to stress one word, and that word is communication. Compassionate action as one word, communication. In particular, she says, communication from the heart. So she shares with us a slogan. All activities should be done with one intention. This one intention is to awaken bodhicitta, to awaken the heart. We could say all activities should be done with the intention of communicating. This is a practical suggestion. All activities should be done with the intention of speaking so that another person can hear you, rather than using words that cause the barriers to go up and the ears to close. In this process, we also learn to listen and how to look. So Rumi once said to listen with the ears of the heart. Right? And Francis said seek first to understand rather than be understood. Again, Pema, intention of speaking so that another person can hear you rather than using words that cause barriers to go up. So it's a very active way of being, right? So we're being very conscious of what we're saying. There is an extremely pointed slogan that goes along with all activities should be done with one intention, and that is always meditate on, oh no. Always meditate on what provokes resentment. Now, we can't get away from this word resentment. Have you noticed that? In spiritual practice, that is the work. Resentment, resentir, to live over and over and over and over again, from the Latin. Yeah. Always meditate on whatever provokes resentment. Instead of the resentment being an obstacle, it's a reminder. How about that? Feeling irritated, restless, afraid, and hopeless is a reminder to listen more carefully. It's a reminder to stop talking, watch, and listen. Boy, that is a practice in and of itself, isn't it? It's a reminder to use Tonglen practice to allow some space. So the idea of meditating on the idea of bringing love into our own life and then bringing others into that love as well. Love, release, love, release. So she gives us an example. For example, you hate this person who's standing in front of you. You just want to help a hungry person get food, and then you find yourself talking to the enemy, a bureaucrat, a politician, them. Boy, is this poignant for today. Them. All you do is get more and more angry at them, so nothing happens. They grow more stubborn, you grow more furious and polarized, and this sense of huge me versus them increases. I don't know if you're connecting any dots in the modern world of today. Right now, I certainly am. When we feel resentment, the words that we speak, the actions that we perform, and the thoughts that we have aren't going to produce the results that we're hoping for. Beyond that, we're so aggressive that we're not exactly adding any peace and harmony to the world. Resentment then becomes a reminder not to feel bad about ourselves, but to open further to the pain and to the awkwardness. Right? So this is a common theme in this practice. If we really want to communicate, we have to give up knowing what to do. When we come in with our agendas, they only block us from seeing the person in front of us. So this is a good time to remember one of the gifts of meditation is reality. Just observing what's going on. Now this is an interesting thing because you'll see in your thought forms that we're often thinking about something that's happened in the past, or we're scheming about something in the future. And when we're doing that, we're not witnessing reality. We can't because we're not present, right? So when we have someone right in front of us and this thing is spinning around, focusing on what I'm going to say next, right? With my agenda and also within my own perceptions of who I think that person is, which is a construct and not real. So you can see how powerful this mental practice can become and why meditation is such an effective, simple, and yet at the same time, not always easy thing to do. We come in with our agendas, Pema says. They only block us from seeing the person in front of us. It's best to drop our 5-year plans and accept the awkward sinking feeling that we are entering a situation naked. We don't know what will happen next or what we'll do. So let's just go there. I'm going to read this one part again. So taking a deep breath. For example, you hate this person who is standing in front of you or on TV. You just want to help a hungry person get food. You just want to do good for the world. And here's this person in front of me, right? A bureaucrat, a politician. It's like talking to the enemy. It's them. All we do is get more and more angry at them, so nothing happens. They grow more stubborn as you grow more furious and polarized, and the sense of huge me, right, with all my stuff, versus huge them, which when we're in the soup, of course, is a mental construct, and that the them that we think we know may or may not be true. See or no? See. Yeah. So we're going to meditate now and just ponder. So remember it said to work with resentment if it comes up. Now, what that doesn't mean is to don't let it hook you. Don't let it hook you, and then you start building a story around it, and before you know it, 5 minutes has gone by. No, we're just observing and detaching, right? Observing and detaching with each breath, one breath at a time. And the tremendous benefit of this is not only in real time, feeling a sense of peace and serenity and oneness and harmony, but we also create space within our mental hygiene, if you will, so that we now are more responsive rather than reactive in other areas of our life. And we are also participating in a field, now this gets a little esoteric, but we're participating in a field of mind, of consciousness, that is raising denser thought forms into ways of creating peace and harmony and serenity, right? That are just easy as the breath itself. Now, if you notice when you get into those deeper, denser emotions, we tense up, we hold our breath, and when we're peaceful and serene, we're just lighter and just chill and able to roll with things. Okay, so enough chatter. So let's get our jiggles and wiggles and giggles out of the way as we adjust our seat. As Mike brings up our Om and Bros. Can you bring them down just a little bit, Mike, please? And so when we talk about working with the breath, again, if this is your first time, remember we're just monitoring the movement of the breath in the nostril. And when we have good attention on that, you can go a little deeper in your meditative state by focusing your attention on the upper lip. Right? And then we're just going to do kind of an adapted mindfulness exercise, scanning the body for sensation. So you'll find as you observe the breath that the mind will still, but thoughts will still arise. And so what we're practicing is the observation and releasing the thought. But should you find you get snagged by a thought form, right? That's not a big deal. Just, oh, look, there I go again. Just take a deep breath. And then just exhale it and release it. And then we just return. Excuse me, I needed that, I guess. And then we just return back to the breath. Okay, so off we go. Taking a deep breath and release. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. And release. So the eyes are relaxed. If you're in a chair, feet flat on the ground, sit bones flat in the seat. So we bring our attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril. We're just allowing the belly to rise and fall gently, easily. Breathing naturally. Focusing our breath on the movement of the breath in the nostril. So bringing our attention to the bottom of our feet, scanning up the leg, into the knees, the upper thigh, the hamstring. Now, sometimes we have a little torquing in our knees, so taking a deep breath. Just release the knee, the hamstrings into the glutes and the sit bones, the belly rising and falling naturally, the lower back. Now, if you're feeling some tension there, you can tuck your tailbone in a little bit and release that. So now up the spine, which is erect and free of tension at the same time. Into the shoulders, down the arms, to the hands. Staying with the breath. Moving into the face now. See if there's any tension in your cheeks, in your eyes. Again, if you find places that are tense, you just take a deep breath. And on that release, you just you'll feel it actually release. Now to space above the eyebrows or the third eye. You may detect sensation there or on the crown of the head. If so, just stay with the breath. Stay with the observation. So we're going to take a deep breath now. And on the release, we're going to allow the shoulders to drop. And we're going to move into the silence for about 20 minutes. So I'll keep track of the time, and you keep track of your breath. All right, so taking a deep, conscious breath. And we release as we move now into the silence. breath. Bringing ourselves gently back into the room. Imagine with me a flame of divinity at the very heart center. Each in-breath, fanning that flame that's now growing into a fire of brilliance and radiance, radiating a light that illumines rather than consumes. With each in-breath, breathing in light, breathing in love, having it commingle within. Breathing easily and naturally, breathing in light and exhaling love. And now, just as in the way a balloon inflates with each in-breath, we are expanding this ball of light now in our heart center. As it expands and contracts with the breath. So this ball of light now, a globe of light extending beyond the torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom. Continuing to expand, we're breathing in light and exhaling love. Now we are sitting in a field of light, a field of love. That we feel our heart opening, our chest expanding, our mind feeling lighter, enlightened, staying with the breath. So that now the room that we are in itself is a field of light, a field of love. So in this conscious unity with the one light, the one love, the one heart, the one mind, we bring forward now our cares and concerns, our desires, that which we require to have a life that is more supported, a life that is an expression of overflow, where there is not only enough, but there is plenty to share. Taking a deep breath and releasing. Sending it on its way. As we know together, there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life of the divine, impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as all that we are. In this moment, we are activating and aligning with the living spirit at an atomic level, that every atom, every molecule, every muscle, every bone, every organ, every sinew, all the various biological systems are now activated and aligning with a pattern of perfection, expressing as radiant good health within the body temple, that every neuron, every cell, every wrinkle of our cortex is aligned and enlightened with the very light of the divine itself. That we are open and receptive to new and creative ideas, to that the divine impulse of the universe itself, impressing new and dynamic ideas to any situation, any challenge, recognizing and knowing that for any challenge presented to us, that the solution is already in place, that we are opening to that in this moment. That our heart is open and that we are now open and receptive to express and experience love in all of its forms, in forms of connectedness, in forms of friendship, the deepening of our intimate relationships with our beloved and within our family. We're knowing this connectedness right now within our spiritual community, including this online community, that we are one in the spirit, that we are one in the heart, that we are one in consciousness. Take a deep breath and release. So we know as we leave this meditation here this evening and prepare for our bedtime, that we hit the pillow, drifting off to sleep, that sleep comes easily and effortlessly, that we sleep deeply, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling refreshed, revitalized, reinvigorated, full of vim and vigor and an excitement for the day, that we step into this day with a joyful expectancy of good, knowing that the Spirit as law is expressing itself in, through, and as our life, that we see our good expressing. In this, we feel a sense of gratitude, of deep appreciation for the many blessings in our life, in all the ways that we experience the divine and even deepen in our connection with it. So from this place then, taking one more deep breath and releasing. So we're releasing all of the words spoken here, the cares and concerns, the feelings, the joys, the sorrows contained within these thoughts, that we're releasing all of it now into that aspect of the mind of the divine itself that knows only to say yes. Yes, my beloved, yes, it is done unto you as you believe. So we know that it is done, that this word is complete. We release, we let it go. And so it is. Amen. So this concludes our meditation healing. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. And I appreciate you joining me this evening. So we do have service here on Sunday at 10:30. I'm joined with Ken Francis, our music director, and Jason Goldstein, who is our stalwart talent. He's more than a keyboard player, certainly, and a voice like an angel. And we're knowing for Reverend Nancy, as she's traveling, that she has arrived safely in North Carolina, as she is with her family through the transition of her brother as he moves from this plane unto the next realm. So we raise her in love and knowing the best for her, and knowing that she and her family are blessed with the many memories of her brother. Yes. So, stay the course. We'll see you on Sunday. I'll be speaking to Blue Collar Spirituality. Most of you know there's a book by that title written by myself. And so we'll be exploring the simple practices that are within the book this Sunday. Hope you'll join us and share it. So I hope you'll think to share this service, share our Sunday service. In particular, my Sunday talk last week, which was spirituality and the recovering redneck. If you know someone that you think might get a chuckle out of that, please share it with them. All right, that's it. Let's give Mike some love one more time. Thank you, Michael Carlin. Go in peace, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye now.